gang. Yeah, apparently this is a hot topic at the moment. You guys want me to keep covering it. So this is Richard Jefferson, Channing Frye, Kendrick Perkins. Youth basketball in America is broken. It's disgusting. That's the title of the video. Obviously right up my alley. So yeah, let's get into it.
It is an American sport that we started. Dr. James Naismith, I said it since I was in college. Thank God for Dr. Naismith. All of us have these jobs and all of us have this money and it's changed our lives. Thank God for him. But the rest of the world is playing the game. And they are playing the game from how do we teach the game? How do we give people the proper skill level, right? If you think about Brazilians in soccer, you think about the French, the way they teach, like the way they teach football and why America is behind, the skill level of their youth before they even get, 8, 10, 12. That's why the greatest soccer players come from Brazil and from France and from England. It's like the way they train is far different than the way we train over here.
I agree 1,000%.
It's not even about the athletes. People say, well, if LeBron James played soccer. No, that's not what this is. It's the way they train. And that's why they consistently do it. It's not just that it's a popular sport. The way we train here in America, on top of, you add in the capitalism aspect of it from like the NIL and to the colleges, and you can only work out with your coaches 3 hours, or 2 hours a day, and that's the max you get. They cap this. Meanwhile, other countries have kids in academies at 15 years old.
So this is huge. This is something we're dealing with at the moment. So I'm helping out at a high school just for this past year and probably for the next year as well. And some of the rule, every state's different, but some of the rules here are like, you can't work with your own players. You can't work with them throughout the summer, except for a very specific small amount of time. And that's wild to me. Like, again, the summer is like the most important time for development and improving the off season. That's when you definitely want to get better, but not that the kid can't practice or play. They just can't practice or play with their coach. So they can go play AAU, and it's encouraged. They can go get individual sessions from people that aren't really in the high school space or college space or anything like that. They can go do that stuff. But for coaches that actually coach teams, there's rules against like what you can and can't do. It blows my mind. And exactly what he's saying, like having kids in academies, like, I spoke about this in the previous video, but separating the school aspect from the sport aspect, I think, is so important. Again, it's just not what we're used to seeing over here in America. So a lot of people are going to be against that idea, but trying to cram the school part with the sport part complicates it a lot. You can still have school sport. Like if you go to Europe, if you go to Australia, if you go anywhere, like other places, you still have school sports, but it's kind of like your secondary, do it for fun. It's like, it's like a physical activity at school. Still have tournaments and whatever, but it's not as serious. Maybe practice once a week or something. But your schools, your club sport, so AAU is your main is your main access to the sport. So you might have, instead of trying to be a high school coach, you'd be like, I want to be an AAU coach. We're going to practice every single day. It's like, okay, I want to put in, this is the offenses we're going to run. Here's the defense we're going to run. Here's the training regiment we're going to have. Like, my job is to just focus on basketball and the sport. And because they have that style of system, like the kids, like development from such a young age, it's so much more holistic. Focus on your school, focus on your sport. If you're going to do sport, play multiple sports, do whatever, but it's like they're separate. They're in separate baskets. And I think that's super important.
Practicing twice a day, every fucking day.
The top
You're
levels
in Europe. If you go play in Europe, you practice twice a day, every single day, except for game days. Twice a day.
And you only play one time a week. Again,
depending what level, but that's huge. Playing once a week. I know playing games is fun, but man, AAU, I think we've probably had 9 or 10 practices for the AAU program I'm helping with. 9 or 10 games, or 9 or 10 practices, but we've had like 20 games. It's like, it's so backwards.
Quick story, and then I'll give it to Shannon. One time a week, Shannon. Okay.
No.
Shannon. Okay.
It doesn't even sound right when you say it right. So I'm
gonna say it wrong. I'm gonna give it to Shannon. All right. Here's the thing, right? My middle son had a teammate. His name was Dax Mitchell. Okay, now he was in the 4th grade. His dad worked at a refinery, and they end up having to move because the dad got a promotion. And when you're in the refinery industry, like you go overseas for like 3 or 4 years, and when you come back, you like really, really at the top. But it's like that sacrifice part. So they moved to the Netherlands, right? And the first thing he called me and said was that I see why overseas players are more advanced and more ready than Americans. And I said, well, what you mean? He said, while we're sitting here every single weekend chasing AAU tournaments, they practice 2 times a day for an entire week. They play 1 time a week on a Saturday, 4 10-minute quarters, and that's it. The most of the time they are training. They are training and they're training and they're training. We, on the other hand, we think, oh, AAU basketball.
5
AAU.
games on a Saturday and 6 games on a Sunday.
And so just to piggyback and like on Richard's point, he's absolutely correct. Like I heard this and he was like, my guy whose name is like Dale, his dad, he was like, oh, I'm never moving back to the United States until my son is ready to go because I'm getting the best for him. So just
real quick, Sham, real quick, I want to add one more thing to Perk, then you go. Why do you think so many NBA players' sons are making it, right?
And this is another thing we spoke about in the other video is like usually to get an opportunity or to get trials or to get a chance somewhere, somebody or whatever. It's the same in this, like the kids that had players that played professionally or played overseas, whatever, they have more of an advantage because the parent can now put that system around them. I do coaching calls all the time with people calling in, parents mainly, but sometimes other coaches, sometimes players that will ask, like, what should I do? Like, what do I need to sign up for? Like, where do I need to go? Like, how do I improve? Like, how do I go onto the right path? And the thing is, like, when you're in, let's say, Europe or somewhere where they have academies, you just go, oh, I'm going to enroll you in this basketball academy. Like they'll put you on the right path. I've done my part as a parent. The problem here is, I spoke about this in one of my shorts, is like, there's so much noise. There is so much noise. There's so many different people telling you what to do. There's coaches they're pulling you this way. There's online influencers pulling you this way. There's parents pushing you and pulling you to all these different AAU and doing all this different stuff. Like parents and players don't know what to do. And that's the biggest issue here is we don't have like a streamlined process in America for the kids that really want to make it or the players that really want to improve. Like, what should we do? It's so frustrating we don't have that. Again, that's kind of why I made this channel, was to try and get closer to that and start those conversations. But I think there's going to be a big change over the next 5 to 10 years in how we do things from the top down. So I'm really interested to see where it goes.
And I think that you're seeing more and more because NBA players, and again, this has been a long thing, but NBA players are looking at the way basketball is being taught and they're like, fuck that. Yep. We're not. No. How many players do you see whose parents played the game? You look at like a Derek Lively and his mom played basketball, and it's not even like division. It doesn't even have to be like professional. But it's because they're seeing how this is being taught and they recognize quickly, like, no, we have experience in this. We know this is how it needs to be taught. So those kids now get this double advantage. Like, I know how to train you, or I know how to teach you the game, because what you're being taught on the AAU level is not. That's why they say the worst parents of kids at sports are the ones that never played sports. The ones who played Division I, Division II, any sort of thing, those parents are always the most.
It's funny because I see it all the time whenever you can tell. Sometimes there's some coaches or there's some players that play for some of the teams I help with, and there's some parents that, like, they've either played at a really high level or they're around sport at a really high level, and they just sit there arms crossed, nod every once in a while, but they're quiet. They let their kids go through the process of being coached, like failing, succeeding, all that sort of stuff. They let it be their journey. Then we've got some parents that like never did anything, like never accomplished anything. And they're the first one. They want to yell and scream and jump in and interject all the time. So it's funny that dynamic there.
Calm for the most part, the most chill, except for Perk and JJ who get thrown out of games. But for the most part, those parents that aren't coaching are more chill, right? They know how to teach their kids the proper steps versus like, I want my kid to go shoot threes when he's 8 years old and he's got this crazy form because like, no, I told little Rich, do not shoot threes. I don't care. Like you at the park with your friends, do not shoot threes. Now he's 10 and now he can shoot threes and now his form looks proper, right? And even now I can tell his younger brother who's 8 is like, hey buddy, do you see how your brother wasn't shooting threes at 8? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you're not strong enough. You shouldn't be doing that. But you see how he can make threes at 10? And it's like, yes. It's like there's a proper level and a form. There's smaller basketballs, and then as you get older, they're bigger because you give kids a smaller basketball so they're not having to launch it, so it's not as heavy. So there's so many things that are just lost in like, we're going to do dribbling drills and teach people how to full court press at 9 years old. It's like, what the? I took my kids out of that. Once I saw they spent an hour of practice full court pressing and learning how to break a press, which is something that's irrelevant once you get to 14 years old. Why are you spending time doing that? So these people can say, we went 42-9 last summer.
Huge. Like most coaches are well-meaning. Most coaches are trying to do the right thing, but it is really frustrating when you've seen it done the right way and you know better to just sit there and be quiet and just allow it to be done a different way, done like this, less efficiently. A lot of coaches want to teach plays. They want to sit there and spend 2-3 hours on a full court press, how to break a full court press, a specific full court press. But if you teach kids, if you develop kids how to pass, how to dribble with their eyes up, how to play full speed, if you teach them court spacing, teach them how to play on a string, like to follow each other, work as a team, that sort of stuff. If you teach them that, they can break every press. It doesn't matter what press there is, they can break it. So we need to spend more time developing the players, how to play conceptually and together, and then it's just reps. It's just practice of doing those things, making mistakes, rather than having 5 guys on the court, 5 guys standing on the sideline watching for 10 minutes as they go through plays. It's just so inefficient, but that's America, baby.
Fucking insane. It is the worst part of basketball I've ever seen in my entire life. It's disgusting.
Don't hold back, Richard. Don't hold back.
I'm disgusted by it, man. I didn't know until I walked in. It was like, that wasn't even what the fuck we had. Right?
I had
3
that,
things I try to tell parents that I talk to, and we have buddies who are obviously NBA head coaches, NBA assistant coaches, NBA GMs, college head coaches, college assistants, high school. So I ask all around, because you know what, like I got a certain motor from the NBA of like timelines, right? And that timeline is you got to get as good as you can get every single day, no matter what, right?
Efficiency.
But the expectation for these kids nowadays is your parents pay for a trainer, and the trainer tells your parents, yeah, your kid's going to go D1, just work out with me. But then that kid might not grow, or that kid might be slow developing. And now that kid mentally, let's say he makes JV for 2 years. He's a freshman, sophomore, makes JV. That kid in his mind's thinking, I failed. And I try to tell parents, his development is not necessarily where he is, but how he approaches every single day. And I said, you know, we're at an 8th grade tournament, and these parents, some of these other parents of other schools are like hardcore. And I go, do y'all think there are coaches here? College coaches have enough budget to recruit their own players, to recruit the portal players, and to recruit top 100 seniors or JUCO players. So unless you are a top 50 senior, 75, maybe even 100, you ain't getting a lot of coaches to go see you. So no one cares.
Not in 8th grade, 9th grade.
Not in 8th grade, not in 9th grade, not in 10th grade, unless you are that good. So for me, and I'll be quick about this, 1, be patient with your kids.
Please.
Be patient with them. Teach them the complete game. And that is as simple as it is. Overseas, they teach you how to move without the ball. I'll watch these kids do a workout. These fuckers dribble the ball the whole time. And when they go in the game, they don't know.
So, trying to think about this. There's a lot of trainers I know. And again, that's why I make my videos. A lot of trainers will spend time, even if you're a post player, even if you're someone who never handles the ball in the game, 70% of what you do is going to be having that ball in your 90% of what that trainer does is going to be focused on having that ball in your hands and how to go score. I did a video on this where I talked about how often out of a 40-minute game, so a high school game, 10-minute quarters, or 32-minute game, if it's 8-minute quarters, you're going to have the ball in your hands for like 3 minutes or less of that 40-minute game. Unless you're like unless you're the guy, the ball dominant guy, 8 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, 6. That's still like not a lot of the game that you're going to have that ball in your hands. Most of your practice needs to reflect that. So practice might mean your physical conditioning. It might be physical conditioning. It might be lifting weights. It might be watching the game, learning the plays, learning how to seal, how to duck in, how to cut off the ball, how to spot up. Then the part you add is once you have the ball, what do you do? How to catch and shoot, how to catch and drive, how to catch and swing, like being able to swing the ball quick, being able to see the next pass, being able to court map. So anticipate, if when I catch this, I'm already going to swing it over here. That stuff is so important. And that's all lost. All of that is lost on today's age of today's era of player development. It's all gone. You rarely will find that.
Spacing. They don't know how to sprint the court. They don't know how to set a screen. Do you know what's the best thing now? I told my daughter Margot, she's 12, about to be 13. She plays 3-on-3. It's the fucking
3-on-3 is the best basketball.
It's the best. It is the best. Everyone learns how to pass.
Do you remember Hoop It Up, Gus Macker? Remember the Hoop It Up? So
yes.
There was 3-on-3.
The Jesus Freaks always won.
So there was more 3-on-3 tournaments. That's especially on the West Coast where Channing and I grew up.
I feel like there's more now, more 3-on-3 because it's an Olympic sport. But
right, I did it at the NBA Jam. NBA Jam in Phoenix, Arizona, when they had the All-Star game in '94, they had a 3-on-3 contest inside the convention center that was a part of like the NBA whole thing.
Everybody participated in
that. Shit was awesome. But 3-on-3 basketball teaches you to move without the ball. It teaches you to pass and cut. Me and my best friends would have like plays. We made up our own plays, like a give and go.
Yep,
like
same.
that's what we were going, like just things like that. But basketball is being taught so wrong here in America, right? It's being taught, and that's why you see more athletes, not just professionals, but Division I parents that have experience of like that's not how you teach basketball, right? But we're also the most calm. One dad asked me, he's like, Richard, how are you so calm, like at all these games? I just sit back and kind of smile, laugh, because I'm like, because no one's losing a job, because no one's gaining a scholarship. No one's here to watch them other than their parents. The only thing I asked my son after the game was, did you have fun?
Did you get
I don't care if
sweaty?
you won. Did you have fun? That's it.
yeah, that was so important. And that's, as you guys know, that's exactly what my channel's about. I think they hit all the points. They spoke about all the important parts. Basketball's not great over here. I'm going to make a couple more videos on that in the future, diving more into the details. But yeah, any of you that are out there struggling with like your individual training or what online coach, so like most of it is nonsense. Sometimes you'll use it to get ideas, use it to motivate you, but don't use it as your Bible. Don't use it as your blueprint to become an elite player. So yeah, I thought that video was awesome. I'm going to start attaching the names of the people that send these through, because that was awesome. I really appreciate whoever you were that sent that through. Thank you. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.